On the occasion of this Lifetime Achievement Award, for which I'm very grateful, I would like to say thank you by highlighting a few of the stages in the life of a teacher, teacher trainer, and ELT author, which is what I've been for the last 30, 40 years or so. But the story begins in Cyprus in 1951 when I was born of parents who were hardly literate, and my mother particularly was a very authoritarian figure, very discouraging in many ways and oppressive, and she represents for me a trauma which I've had to overcome. Inadvertently, they helped me overcome this inauspicious start to my life by emigrating to England and to create opportunities for their children. And I, like my siblings, went to English schools, and this is my first primary school in Birmingham, where although I was a very naughty boy, there were certain aspects of this school life which encouraged me and helped to transform me from being a ne'er-do-well to, I suppose, achieving this Lifetime Achievement Award. I had a teacher, Miss Cooper, who was wonderful. She was encouraging, she was a great storyteller, and she had this magical technique of introducing her real live parrot into the classroom and distracting naughty students like myself by getting them to come to the front and talk to the parrot. So I will never forget Miss Cooper, and I still talk about her at conferences. I performed even at primary school. I was Herod in the nativity play, and I slaughtered all the innocents. When I moved on to secondary modern school, which was a school for kids who'd failed their so-called 11 plus, this secondary modern school was also very encouraging for me. I was even naughtier there. I was the worst student from the point of view of behavior of all the kids in the school. But I was saved by a teacher of English who made me love literature. It began with Julius Caesar and Lord of the Flies. And the plays. He was the same teacher who directed the school plays. For some reason, he always chose me to be the star. And here I am performing Long John Silver in Treasure Island. And in the next picture, I'm performing the genie with the magic lamp. And I chose these two pictures because they show two different aspects of my face, which capture two different aspects of my personality there. The nose, I always thought I had a good nose, good side, and my bad side. And one looks more European and the other looks more Oriental, and I think this captures what it means to be a Greek, or for me, in many ways, looking in two directions, towards the west and the east, towards a reason and having great passions as well. But anyway, that's a long story, the two sides of one's face. At that school, although I was naughty, the school did something very interesting. They appointed me the head prefect of the school, so I was the captain of the students. And this helped me, of course, to become more motivated, and in the end, I became a much better student academically, and I was transferred to the so-called grammar school for good students. And this is my English teacher at the grammar school, Mr. Tom Reeder, who continued to instill the love of Shakespeare in me. We did Othello together and The Tempest, and eventually I got the first prize for English language literature at this school, the grammar school, and I chose for my prize What Else, the Oxford Book of English Verse. I graduate from school and I go to university, Bristol University, where I study English and Greek. I get my degree and I go to Greece for the first time to teach English in a Phronistere, and it wasn't a very successful experience. I'm very embarrassed and ashamed of the things I did at the time in this short few months of teaching English for the first time. But I always intended to do something else in life. I wanted to study Shakespeare, and I went on to the Shakespeare Institute in Birmingham and did my MA in Shakespeare Studies. And I thought I'd spend my life doing anything Shakespearean, performing, analysing Shakespeare, teaching Shakespeare. But I ended up doing a postgraduate degree in English language teaching at Leeds University and came to work for the British Council in Greece, where once again, apart from being a teacher trainer, I had a theatre group, bits and pieces, influenced very much by English teaching theatre by Ken Wilson's English language teaching theatre. And with this, eventually David Gibson and I, as Dave and Luke, travelled to many different countries performing for language teachers and students. And this evolved into the English language voice theatre, which involved even more teachers from around Greece and in other countries too. And I'm very proud of this collaboration with so many of my esteemed and distinguished colleagues. So those are some of the things that have shaped me in the classroom within the framework of education, strictly speaking. But outside the classroom, I think it's important to mention the love of nature and the respect for nature, and my love of walking with my friends and my siblings in the English countryside, in the Lake District, and in the Greek mountains and Greek countryside. And even in the lockdown, you see, one of the great consolations was learning to study, to observe nature, and particularly butterflies. So this is something good that came out of COVID for me and reinforced my general approach to education in respecting nature above all, and helping students to respect the natural environment on which we all depend. And I'll finish with two comments. Two great influences on my life have been this politician, Tony Benn. And I've chosen just one quotation from Tony about how he would like to be remembered. And I think it expresses how I would like to be remembered too. That if anything, I would like people to say that I was encouraging towards my students, of course, and towards my colleagues, collaborating, not competing, but encouraging people to find their very best selves as teachers and trainers. And to finish, thank you to three ladies who've been enormously positive and encouraging in my life as a teacher and outside the classroom. Sue Jones has been a wonderful support for many, many years, and I wouldn't have become the writer I became if it wasn't for Sue, and I only wish I had done even better to reward her efforts. Lilika Kuri of Tisol, Greece, her enormous presence has been very encouraging for me too, and I'm grateful for that. Thank you, Lilika. And finally, Tasula Anastasia Spiropoulou, who has been supportive in so many ways, both to me as a speaker in her conferences, the forum, and also as a performer with our theatre groups. She's been wonderfully encouraging and welcoming, and I thank her. And thank you all for the respect and affection you have shown me. Thank you very much.